Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. This is more or less a part two of a two-parter that's looking at this brand new FINOW, F-I-N-O-W, Q1 standalone Android-based smartwatch phone that runs Android 5.1. We already did the unboxing and now we're going to do a deeper look. But before we begin, I wanted to mention that this watch allows you to put your own SIM card in it, meaning it can work as a standalone watch, or really as a phone. To do that, you have to look on the watch and find the button, then go to the opposite corner of the button on the back where you'll see a little place you can pry open the back cover and remove the cover. The cover has the diodes that light up for doing your pulse reading and little connectors that connect right here. Now, here are the connectors that we used with the magnetic coupling. It's even stuck to its USB. Remember, we had it like that through the cover. That's where they connect. And underneath the battery, if we open that up, which is not easily removable, it's actually in here more or less permanently. But you can see that we have the micro SD, or sorry, the nano SIM card slot. There's no micro SD or TF card slot, but there is a place you can put a nano SIM card underneath the battery, which happens to be a 360 milliamp battery. I believe the paperwork said it was a 400 milliamp. But this is right on the battery, so I probably more or less believe this. We pop that back in place. We take the back, make sure it aligns with the pins, and snap it in. And now, if you inserted a SIM card, you're good to go. So, as we boot up, let's take another look at the specifications that we have on this watch. In terms of networking, you have basically what all the other watches we've seen. You have a 3G connection at the 2100 megahertz and 850 megahertz level. And of course, all the 2G bands. There's the size of the watch, 13 millimeters thick, its weight, all the other information about its display. The platform is Android 5.1 Lollipop, and we're running a quad-core 1.3 gigahertz MediaTek 6580 processor with 1 gigabytes of RAM and 8 gigabytes of ROM. That's double what we've seen on the other watches. All right. Well, let's take a look. Here we go. The machine is up and running, and it's on its very first clock face, which is a flying butterfly. So how do you get around? As in most of these watches, if you swipe to the left, you get your notifications, which you're going to see this being first look. It has not been hooked up to the internet, and so we don't have any connectivity to show you any of the good stuff running. This is just to show you how it works. If you had music installed, you've got a music player. Past that, you've got your basic heart rate monitor and pedometer, like we've seen on the round FINOW watches. And you've got weather information if you're connected to the weather server, meaning that you're on the network, right? Let's play with this a little bit. Let's start in on the heart rate. Now, I would, of course, need to have this on my wrist for it to work, so let's try it like this. See how well the measuring goes. Most likely, similar to the round watches, you're going to get readings, but you're not going to be able to export those readings. Hey, not bad. I tried this earlier and I was up in the 90s, but of course I was really excited because I just opened it up. Bounces around a little bit, and I presume you just swipe it to stop it. If I go back in there and switch to the right, there's the readings that we've taken. Now, a nice thing about this is you could, after your exercise routine, take your heart rate measurement and then take it in intervals afterwards. And if you recall, it's your recovery heart rate that you really want to be monitoring. So it's nice that it'll record a history for you so you can see how quickly your heart rate restores to normal. That's pretty much something that you can do with this watch in a standalone mode. Again, I'm not on the internet, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or anything else. I'm able to do the blood pressure monitoring directly that way. In terms of pedometer, you can input stuff. What are we looking at here? Oh, okay. I guess I started the count, so I could be jogging right now and accumulating steps against time, which it appears will help calculate calories. Yeah, it's not counting steps, so we're just playing with it. Here's a settings area where you can refine it by putting in your height and weight and gender. And that helps to calculate the information a little bit better. So there's 3 different windows here. And there's some different readings over time. And it looks like the whole thing began May 21st. So now we know the age of the watch. It's birthday, May the 21st, because it's been doing it every day since. Even while it was in the mail to come here, I guess. All right. So those are like 2 apps that you can get to directly, and the weather information, you need to be connected and all of that good stuff. And of course, touching that would take you into the weather app. So we've covered 3 of the basic apps that you're going to be seeing as we go into the apps. Now, unlike the round watches where you simply tap and go into the apps, on this one, we've gone left and we've gone right. And if you go down, you see the notification bar at the top, like you do on a regular Android phone. We have 100% battery charge. And if you go up, that's how you get into the apps. So let's run through them real quick. The phone, nondescript, good size buttons, easy to work with. Phone numbers that have been called, and the dial pad. SMS messages, if you've sent any, they'll be there. And a reply. So it looks like they tested this out a little bit. For SMS. Contacts, of course, if you have your contacts loaded up, they'll be here alphabetically. Settings, we'll come back to that in a minute. Watch Helper is the app that lets you deal with your connectivity to your phone. So you can connect by Bluetooth and then set it to vibrate, play sounds, have the screen light up. Find your target device, so if you're separated from your phone, it'll beep or something. And then there's transfer files between the 2 with the mobile app download icon. Pretty much the basic kind of stuff you see on these standalone phones. It's not really heavy into doing tethering, so you're not going to see the kind of tethering you may be used to on a tethered watch. This is much more a standalone device. There's the Google Play Store. That's a good sign. That means we're all tied in with Google, and you can download apps from the Play Store, just like we are on the Round Watch. Your browser is a basic browser with different buttons that have already been pre-coded in here. Again, we're not on the internet, so I can't go in and show you anything other than how to get into them. The alarms are pretty basic, but you do have the capability to select what days of the week you want it to go off on, and what sound you want, whether you want it to vibrate, throw it away, change the time, activate it, deactivate it, all of those things in a basic multi-alarm system. Here's something new. We have an email client. That's a little bit too bright for the screen right now. Let's go back up for a second to settings. Let's go to display. Let's go to brightness level. Let's tone it down a little bit. See how quickly you can get around? The email client. We tap on that, set up your email, and it looks like the email client is designed to work on this small square platform. And I imagine it'll work with whatever email you've got, Hotmail, Gmail, whatever. And you just simply set it up and you're good to go. Of course, you've got to be on the network. Gallery for your pictures. We don't, wow, there's a picture in there. When I looked earlier, there was no picture. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Okay, I know what's going on here. Andrew, do you recognize that? All of you will know what's going on by the time I'm done with this. Now there's some pictures in there, and they were inside of a folder in a gallery. Those pictures are important, you'll see. All right. Music player. We've got a music player, but we have no music. So same thing. You're going to be able to play music A sound recorder. Let's test this little one out. This is the sound recorder built into the watch. You can see me talking at this volume close up. You have the needle bouncing around, so it looks like it's recording just fine. And we play it back. Let's test this little one out. This is the sound recorder built into the watch. You can see me talking at this volume close up. You have the needle bouncing around, so it looks like it's recording just fine. Not too bad. Kind of tinny, but if you export that file, it may sound better on a regular sound system. Voice search lets you bring up your whole Google experience with the OK Google, I presume. There's the microphone. It's offline right now, of course, because we're not connected, but theoretically you can do all of your Google search stuff, and it's integrated directly into it. Downloads, there's no downloads in here. You've got a file manager, you've got your pedometer, and it looks like you got the steps that we saw before, those 3 pages worth, and a timing sport. What is this? 0, 1. Confirm. It's a countdown timer, and there it goes. That's new. We haven't had a countdown timer before. So, pedometer and timing your steps over a specific amount of time you want to walk, or, as you can see, short time countdown timer. This would be great for your heart rate recovery. Do your workout, take your pulse, set it for 5 minutes, stand around, cool down, take your pulse again, then again, then again, and graph or monitor your heart rate recovery time and see how well your health is really doing. All in this watch, and none of that requires any kind of connectivity to anything else. Then you can record a voice note about your workout if you want to and have it all self-contained. Pretty nice. All right, what else have we got? Weather. We went in there from the top, and you can see how it works. The barometer is also tied to the weather, and you have to have a weather, a connection, and be downloading information from the weather app in order to get your barometric pressure. Not sure what you do with that, but if you're into it, I'm sure you do know. What else? Heart rate, we looked at that already. That was up on the fitness panel. And ChronoSurf Pro? What is this? Whoa. Whoa. What are we looking at here? Wow. All right, I'm messing with you folks. I'm sorry. This is not stock with the watch. Yeah, it's not. Oh, there's that 1 minute timer that we set. This is not what comes with the watch. I added this. I needed to know. I just couldn't wait. I needed to know if I hook this on the bottom and I plug that into the computer, could I transfer apps into the watch directly from my app backup and restore folder, which I tell you about in other videos that we've used to back up apps on the Round Watch, one of which is this beta version of ChronoSurf Pro. And yes, indeed, not only could I install it, but it's fully functional. And nice loud beeps and everything. And if that weren't enough, and this is a shout out to my buddies over at the developers forum who are always playing with watches and trying to put goodies on there, watch this. I press the bottom button and it's at 10, which means it's at 100% battery, and that second-hand dial will decrease and move down until it gets to 0 based on how much battery charge you have, just by touching and holding the lower right button. ChronoSurf Pro, it's going to be available in the Google Play Store with all the bells and whistles that let you bring up the menu function, go back out of here, bring up the settings so you can set the background differently if you want to. All of that is in process because this was written for phones, but it's being revised to work on the watch platform. Up until now, we thought that was the Round Watch platform, but hey, look, folks, it's doing just fine, thank you, on the FINOW Q1. So We know you can install Android apps and they're going to run fine on this watch. Well, what else have we got? We were looking at all of these different things and we went through all of them except for settings. So we're going to go back and take a look at quickly the different volumes you have: a ringer, alarm, and media volume capability. You can change the ringtone and set vibrate, all that kind of stuff, what you'd expect in sound. In display, we saw the brightness. I've already set this to go off in 30 minutes, but you can go as short as 15 seconds. Exactly the same as the round FINOW X1, X3, X5 watches. So all that's the same. Date and time, exactly the same. We have it set for automatic, but there's no hookup right now, so the time is ticking away based on its last setting, which was GMT +8, which is China Standard Time. When it gets all updated and set on the network, it can be updated to any time zone you want. Connectivity. Bluetooth connectivity is available. It's on, and there's paired devices. It looks like it was tested with a headphone. Let's just turn it off. Your Bluetooth is, when it's on, your device can communicate with other nearby Bluetooth devices. And it gives you a warning at the beginning to turn it off if you're not using it to save battery power. Wi-Fi connectivity, turn that on, get on your router. We've seen all of that. Airplane mode. You can run this as a Wi-Fi hotspot if you want, and your carrier allows it. And then you could actually have your tablet communicating through your watch as a Wi-Fi hotspot to the world. That's interesting. And you got to have, of course, your 3G hookup of 2100 or 850 megahertz with your SIM card installed and all of that. But it is pretty science fiction to be walking around and using your watch on your arm as a hotspot. Well, the capability is here to do that. Your GPS, built-in GPS receiver that theoretically lets you find your location on Earth. And different apps like, of course, Google location will track where you are. You need a hookup probably through cellular or through Wi-Fi or through Bluetooth for that to work. But I don't know, jury's out on that on the round watches. It's just sometimes a little flaky trying to get the signal. We've heard that when you have it on your wrist, the lower band, so if your arm's like this, it would be this band here. We've heard that that's where the GPS antenna is. And some people get better reception by having it on and turning their arm up, okay, or actually taking it off and holding it out. And it may take a couple of minutes to actually acquire the GPS signal. But it does have GPS in the watch, and we don't know about this new Android 5.1. All our experience has been on the round one. So it might be better, might be worse. Follow the XDA developers and find out. They'll be checking all that stuff out. You can bet that for sure. Messaging, SMS, MMS, notifications, general, all your settings for your text messaging. Again, using the SIM card. Your calls, they're all shaded out because we don't have a SIM card in here right now, but if we did, all that would light up and you could set up your calls. Messaging and calls is about using this as a standalone device. It has nothing to do with tethering to a phone, okay? That is something completely different and not covered here. That would be with that tethering app. There's a power savings mode, and you can have that on. After opening the power saving mode, the system will turn off your Wi-Fi, mobile, Bluetooth, GPS, and other functions. So, good way to just kind of save power at night when you're not going to be using it. An open flip brightness screen and off screen automatically. Not sure what these are. My guess was, but I couldn't actually verify it, that when you have it off and you have it on your wrist, right, and you flip it up, that it would come up and turn on. But I'm not getting it to work. So that's something we got to check a little bit more to find out if that's what that actually means. It certainly does work on the round watches, which is a nice feature. And it may work on this one as the firmware gets updated. Again, this is the very first one that's come out from FINOW. So we're looking at kind of a prototype here. Battery. You have your battery usage data, and you can put the percentage on the battery display up here. I guess I got to go all the way back to see that. And that's what's turned on there. Settings. Where were we? Battery, yeah. And that's all I've got. I'm not able right now, and it doesn't look like, to get into the different apps that are using the battery. And we hit a refresh button. Now again, this is a very limited system that you're seeing that's built into here. There's the whole Android 5.1 operating system underneath it. So if you want to see the other features that are typically visible like on a phone, you have to set it up with some other apps that we have talked about before and we'll talk about again. Settings search being the main one, or Google gesture search being another one. Install those and run your settings through those apps and you'll see a whole lot more. Uninstalling apps, I have ChronoSurf Pro that I installed, so it's now showing up to be uninstalled if I wanted to. Privacy, you can do a screen lock, and because we have unknown sources checked, I'm able to what they call side load apps, by loading them into the watch and then running them on the watch. You install the APK files from the computer, and then you run the APK file and it installs it in the watch. Then you can delete the APK file if you want to because the application's in there, but you got to have unknown sources turned on. Language and input is where we handle the different keyboards. And if you like the regular keyboard layout, the Android keyboard is a good way to go. But if you like to play with something a little bit more interesting where you swipe, try Message Ease, M-E-S-S-A-G-E-A-S-E, Message Ease keyboard. That's another one that works well, at least on the round watch. Because this is rectangular, you might be able to use minimum. It's got 2 U's in it. There's a whole variety of other ones that could work on a rectangular or square layout that are limited on the round one because you can't get to the edges. But either way, Message Ease, it works fine on both. Google Voice Typing is in it. Pinyin Mi is the Chinese keyboard that you can use on here. Comes stock with all of these. Reset equipment, a DRM reset, a factory data reset, so you can restore the watch to factory default. And then what everybody's been waiting for, the about. You have the wireless update. Most of the time on the watches, it really doesn't work that well. If you want to do a firmware update, we've got videos that show how to do it, and we also keep under each of the watches a listing of links to the various firmwares that have been released to update those watches. So you might want to do it manually if there's a new update out and it's not coming in when you press wireless update, and of course you're on the internet. Our status. Battery status is not charging, it's at 100%. It goes in and talks about your SIM, your IMEI, your IP address, so forth, so forth. And check it out, folks. This is why this is, I'm sure, the very first one released. If I can get it to focus, come on. Check out the serial number, 0123456789 ABCDEF. Yeah. That's something. This is like, that'll go in the Smithsonian someday as the very first FINOW Q1 watch released. Uptime, all that good stuff. That's your status. I know, it doesn't take much to excite me. My model number is the Q1. My Android version is 5.1. And these are the other things. The security patch, baseband version, kernel version, build number, and custom build version. Okay? So, that is a look at the apps that come along with this wonderful watch. These are the default apps with the exception of one that I added here. So you can see, first of all, it is possible to install apps and that they will probably start showing up just back and forth down a long list of non-alphabetized apps. We have better ways of showing them, and we'll be talking about that later as we go into installing quality apps to run on this Q1 watch. In the meantime, if you hit that corner left button, that's where you get the display of all the apps we have running in the background, and you can close them all right there. Is that it? Are we done? What do you mean watch faces? Oh, Yo, guys, you've seen all the... All right, all right. Let's look at the watch faces. Press and hold, just like we do on the round ones. This is the first one. It's on the left. And we'll do a little walkthrough of the installed watch faces that you get with the Q1. And there's a good selection of them. Nice layout. Round ones show up in a circle inside the watch. That one's kind of nice. That's classy. Look at that. It's got a square within a square, and then the hands floating on it. Good contrast when you have these black and white kind or dark and light color ones, so that in the sunlight you can see the time pretty easily. These are all analog. There you go. Little wheel at the bottom is the second hand turning. What else have we got? Oh, here's something that shows the time of the day, I guess, with the sun and the moon. So in China, at this time, the sun is just coming up. Everybody's having breakfast, and they're going to be shocked to find this video online. Wow. Because it'll be online here by noon their time, I'm sure. Here we have the date, May 27th, so you can see you can have clock faces that have the date on them. We always look at what's installed to see what is possible. There you go, different font for the time and day, and subdued layout for the actual analog. So you have analog and digital together on that clock face. And this one. Okay, just another cut at digital time with analog time. Here we have one that's showing AM, so it supports the AM PM buttonology as well. So if you're not in 24-hour time, but in morning and evening time, you can show AM and PM on these clocks. There's the one we had that booted up originally in the unboxing video. Here's something that's got a little dial that's wiggling back and forth like it's trying to do something with digital time. These are the kind you have to kind of sit with for a while and see where they go, what they do. And, oh, I guess that's it, folks. You saw it. Darn. All right, all right. What was that? Oh, I think space invading robots have infested the phone already. You see, oh, look at that. There's a plus over here. You could probably hit that and download more clock faces if you're online. But there's one right here between these, and oh, those of you who have been watching the videos before know that that clock face is not stock to any of these, okay? In fact, we all know that one of our fine, cherished developers, Andrew Davis from over on the XDA Developers Forum, has made this and many others. And this is the robot. And a lot of folks will go, how did you get that robot? Where is it from? So I tried it. I went into the watch. I created Clock Skin, the folder. And in the Clock Skin folder, I dropped Andrew's robot folder with all of the information to run through the clock engine to put it on the screen. And then I tested it. And there it is. You know what this means? In this square watch, all of the clock faces you've seen on this channel can load up and run on the Q1. So not only do you now have an Android 5.1 based smartwatch phone that you can install apps either side-loaded directly from the computer or downloaded from the Google Play Store, you can also install any clock faces that you see or follow our guide online in the videos of how to create your own. Because, folks, it appears that this uses the basic same clock engine of all of the others to render those clock skins as watch faces on this watch. Now I'm done. Now I'm happy. This is the brand new FINOW Q1 serial 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Thank you for watching. There are a lot more videos to come. I'm going to go have another coffee.